Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be adding an outlet for this TV and clock. This is an old den that we turned into a bedroom. As you can see here, the power for the TV and the clock and the Roku go down, plug into a power strip, go through the door and plug in over there. On the back side of this wall is the cavity that our refrigerator is in. And we're going to jump power from the refrigerator outlet to a surface mounted box on this wall so that we can plug everything in this space. This was a wet bar, as you can see, which is why there was no power. We have the water off to this, and we're going to be making another video capping the water lines, capping the drain line. That'll be one video. Then we're going to make a separate video where we remove the sink and we custom make a butcher block top to go on top of this. But for now, we're going to work on getting this outlet put in. First thing I got to do is move all this stuff and go get the power off to the outlet we're going to be working with. Like all electrical work we do, get your tester. We're going to go find the breaker, cut it off, verify that it's off before we start working on any electrical work. Okay, now we know the power's off. We're going to take the cover off of this outlet. Then we're going to pull the outlet out. Now, if you've watched our outlet installation video, we are going to have to cut these off, restrip them, wire nut them together, run our wire into our other box, and then reconnect them to this outlet because they are pushed in, they're staked in the back, and we're not going to be able to connect any more wires. This is the maximum allowed per outlet, so we're going to have to make a junction inside this box. But to get our surface mounted box mounted, we need a 7/8 inch hole. We're going to use a 7/8 inch spade bit to drill the hole because a 1/2 inch knockout is a 7/8 bit. All right, so I drilled through the box and I drilled almost all the way through the wall on the other side. But because we have to use a knockout, 1/2 inch knockout connector push in, the hole on the other side actually needs to be larger. So we're gonna go on the other side with a 1 inch paddle bit and we're gonna finish the hole from the other side. And the key to that is, maybe the camera can even see it, but I drove the pilot bit, which is this part of the drill bit. This is the paddle, that's the pilot. I drove that all the way through the wood so you can see out of it. Drilling the 1 inch hole on the other side would be much more difficult if I drilled this 7/8 inch hole all the way through. The 1 inch bit wouldn't have a pilot and it wouldn't be able to grab to hold itself still. So it would vibrate the drill around like this. And it's not impossible, it just makes it more difficult. And to be able to drill a good clean 1 inch hole on the other side, stopping where I stopped, is going to make it much, much easier. Let's go to the other side and drill that hole. So here's our pilot hole from the other side. You can see that. So now I'm going to take this 1 inch bit and I'm going to finish drilling from this direction through the wood. So our connector has space behind the box, so the box can fit flush to the wall. Just like so. All right, this is our multi-use, multi-mount box that we're using to surface mount. Comes with a space inside. You screw through here to mount it to the wall. Comes with a single 1/2 inch knockout on the back. That's what this is. Knockout on the side, two, one on the top. And then these are wire push-ins, but we're gonna go with the knockout because of the hole that we drilled. So the first thing to do is just knock the knockout out, which is why it's called a knockout. It's designed, perforated to pop out when you strike it with the butt end of a screwdriver like that. Then we're going to take our push-in knockout, and just like we did the other box, it literally just pushes in from the inside, has these little tabs on it that hold it in place, like ears, once you push it through. So you just push it through, and now it's locked into place. This, you can't see inside the other box, but the other box has this exact same thing. So now the wire can safely go in and out without snagging on any edges or anything inside the box. So let's go mount this to the wall where we just drilled our hole. Yeah. So here's where we drilled our 1-inch hole. And we're going to take our fitting that we just pushed in, and we're going to slide it into that hole. Now it lines up with the other box directly. We're going to use 2 screws through those pilot holes designed to mount this box to the surface. When you're mounting it, you do want to make sure that it's level. All right, box is mounted. Now we're going to go cut a piece of 14-2 Romex, and we're going to feed it through to this side. We're going to wire this side up, put the cover on it, clean up this area, and put everything back so this side's done. Little tip, pro tip, when you're feeding a wire through one and it's a short piece of wire and you're going to have to work on the other side, put a double bend in it, like so, and then feed it through the 2 connectors. And now you can work the other side, pull on the wire, strip the wire, do whatever you have to do, and the wire's going to stay right here like that. Common rule of thumb code really is 7 to 9 inches. These pliers are going to be 7-inch pliers, so we know we can cut this off right here, and we'll have the right amount of wire in our box. Now remember, we made that little hook on the other side, so we can't pull this wire out of there, so it's perfectly safe for us to do this. I don't have a Romex stripper, so I just take a razor knife, cut down the middle where the ground wire is carefully so I don't cut my hand. Strip the Romex away, peel the insulation paper away for the ground so that I can have all of my wires exposed, like so. Get that all peeled back and out of the way. Take this, cut it so that the Romex is going out through the box, but not in the way inside. Just like so. So like we talked about in our wire stripping video, this is 14-2, so we're going to the 14 here. We're going to put it on the 14, expose a piece of wire, expose a piece of wire. Also, what we talked about, the little hole on your wire stripper right here, we're going to take that, we're going to bend that into a nice little hook for our outlet. Same thing on the white wire, just like that. Take our new outlet, we're going to put the white, so you got a silver screw and a gold screw. If you've never installed an outlet before, we've made a couple of videos on that, but you want to make sure that it's all done correctly. Same thing on the opposite side for the black. Then take the ground, same hook, put it on the ground lug here. I like to take my screwdriver and tighten it up by hand after I snug it up with the impact. Good to go. Now we're going to fold the wires, push them into the box like so. Same thing, I'll get them close, then I'll use my screwdriver to tighten it up so that I don't strip anything out, and I can make sure that the outlet is centered in the box. All right, now we're going to take the cover plate, pop it on here. Now, let's go to the other side, wire that up, install the new outlet, make the junction we need to connect this one to it, put it all back together, turn the breaker on, and then we'll test everything. This piece of wire right here we're going to use. What we're going to do is we're going to take the one that we put to that other outlet. We're going to disconnect this outlet. We're going to wire nut all of it together, and we're going to make a jumper go from those wire nuts to the new outlet. To do that, we're going to need an extra piece of wire, because I'm going to connect these two blacks to the black in here, these two whites to the white in here, the ground to the ground, and then I'm going to connect the black and the white and the ground in here. But you can't have Romex inside of your box per code, so we're going to make this a jumper out of a piece of Romex instead of buying stranded or single wire. So to kind of cheat on that, cup your hand on the bottom and pull down on the skin like so, and you can start to pull the wire out. When you get it to right about there, take your little wire strippers, grab your wires and pull. And they'll all just pull right out. That way you don't have to worry about cutting the skin off and doing all that stuff and risk slicing your finger. Now I have my 3 wires and the Romex skin's gone. Same thing as the other side, 7 inches out, so we can cut this right here. And the reason for that is, in the future, if anything ever has to be done, just like this, if they would not have cut these correctly to 7 to 9 inches, I wouldn't have the room to do what I want to do. So I want to leave this long enough so that the next person, probably me when my wife makes me change that outlet, is working on something, I have the room to do what I need to do as well. So I'm going to cut this wire so we have the 7 to 9 inches. I'm going to skin it like I did the other side, and then we're going to cut this other outlet loose. I know you're thinking, what if you nick the wire? What if you cut the skin on the wire? Couldn't that cause an issue? And it 100% could cause an issue. That's why when I do it, if you look at where this is cut, I cut it right down the middle, right on top of the ground. And I also barely cut it. All you really have to cut is the end and then make a line at the other end. And once you pull it apart and pull the Romex down and the wires up, it'll split on its own. It's designed to do that. All right, now we're going to cut this outlet free. We're going to start with the easy one, which is going to be the ground. We're going to take our jumper. We're going to use wire nuts, wire connection, wing twist nuts, and they tell you what the minimum and the max. So a yellow, minimum 2 18s, maximum 3 12s. So what we're going to have is 2 12s and 2 14s coming off of our jumper. I'm sorry, that's a lie. We're going to have 2 12s, a 14, and a number 12 wire coming off for our jumper, because I'm not going to reduce the size of this wire to come out, and we have 12 wire here, so I'm going to make the jumper the right size. So that means we're going to need the red for a maximum of 5 12s, because we're basically going to have 3 12s and a 14. So we're going to be using the red wire nuts for the black and the white, and we're going to be using the yellow wire nuts for the ground, because inside of this box the ground has already been jumped together, so it's only going to be 3 wires. I'm going to start putting this together. When we're putting all these wires together, we're going to line them up twist them up, then wire nut them. You don't want to just stick them in the wire nut. You'll never get a good connection that way. Well, not never, but this is the surefire way to get the connection you need. The ground, it didn't matter, but on these coated wires, the black and the white in this situation, you're going to want to make sure that there's no exposed bare metal outside of your wire nut. So we're going to cut this back like so. Grab old Big Red here. Which is going to twist it up even more. And you can see no exposed wires. Very important to check for that. When you're putting this many wire nuts together, I suggest putting a little leverage on it when you're twisting it up, just to make sure it's good and tight. One thing you can also do is do a little wire pull check. Pull, 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 pull. Nothing's loose, connection's solid. Now we got our pigtail. One more to go. All of our pigtails are in place. We're ready to wire up the outlet. I'm going to take my cool little hole here and I'm going to bend my hooks to connect to my outlet. Got us a nice brand new outlet. All right. Now we're going to take all these junctions we made. We're going to push them carefully and neatly back into this box right here. That's why we verified that we had a nice deep box, so that we knew we had room to make all these connections and have room for all this wire to be in there, and we do. We could actually have one more wire. 5 wires would be allowed in this size box, and we've only got 4. So you push those in there like so, and then just like any other outlet. When you do that, only thing I'm watching for is to make sure that the ground goes down and backwards and doesn't go up near the neutral or the hot wire on the outlet. Make sure your outlet's in the middle of the box before you tighten it all the way up and level. Now we're going to take our new cover. Put this on here. Let's go turn the breaker on. Make sure we're good. Most important part of the job. Clean up so Mama's happy. Okay, it's all back together. Plug the fridge back in. We're going to put it back into place. My fridge yells at me about the power being out, so we're going to reset that. That's another video brought to you by Your Home Made Easy. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.